Since Xiaomi entered the world of truly wireless headphones, they've delivered us two models. The Xiaomi Mi Airdots, or the Mi Airdots Youth, and the Xiaomi Mi Airdots Pro, or also known as the Xiaomi Mi Air True wireless headphones. And today, we're comparing them. Hey, my name is Mitchell. If you're new to my channel, I make video about the tech I use. And as always, this video is sponsored and supported by you guys, my audience. Without your support and without you guys using the affiliate links that I have down below, I couldn't keep this channel going. Also, if you're on Telegram, go ahead and join my Telegram community. I've also recently started the Millennial podcast, which is a podcast every week about Xiaomi news and events, and I'll have links to all those videos and where you can find it on SoundCloud in the links down below. Okay, let's hop into the video. Now we're going to start with talking about the design of the original Xiaomi Mi Airdots. And first off, let's talk about the actual earbuds themselves. They are small, they are lightweight, and they are very inobtrusive. They fit really well in my ear, and they really don't give me much in the way of kind of external manipulation. And what I mean by that is that they are so small and they sit so flush into your ears that if you wear a headband, a turban, a burqa, a hijab, anything like that, which I know many of my viewers do, they should fit totally fine. There is a touch panel on the outside of the earbud, and the touch panel is, in my opinion, somewhat mediocre. Now, to contrast that with the Mi Airdots Pro, the Mi Airdots Pro are very, very similar in shape and appearance to something of a cross between the Huawei FreeBuds and the Apple AirPods. They have the long AirPod style extension that comes out from the headphones where they charge, and it also has a noise canceling, or not a noise canceling, but it has a voice oriented microphone so that you can use these to make calls, and they don't sit low in your ear. They really kind of come up and are much closer to being parallel with the ground than the Apple AirPods. Overall, the design of them is larger, considerably larger, but with that size, you do get a much better touch control. Now, along with this increase in size of the Airdots Pro, we do have the proximity sensor, so they will automatically pause when you take them out of your ear. Overall, I think the design, when comparing the actual headphone unit themselves, the design, at least in my opinion, goes to the original Airdots simply because they're smaller and they're less obtrusive. Now, you couldn't pack all of the features and all of the tech that you have in the Airdots Pro into a headphone the size of the Mi Airdots. And in this instance, I would give the slight advantage to the original Mi Airdots. Now, when talking about the case of the Mi Airdots Pro is considerably larger than the Mi Airdots. Not so big that it is a pain in the ass to use. Still smaller than the case of the QCY T1 Pros, which I will have a review to linked up here, but the case of these is pretty big. Now, the smart case of the Mi Airdots Pro does offer some added functionality. There is a quick charge feature to them. We do have a pairing button on the side of the headphones along with a USB-C port. And when you open the lid for the Mi Airdots Pro, they begin to start pairing with your device before you take them out, much like the Huawei FreeBuds. The case feels quite substantial and very, very solid in your hands, and it's got a very nice and reassuring dense feeling. And when we compare that to the case of the Xiaomi Mi Airdot original ones, there's really no comparison. The Mi Airdots Youth feel kind of cheap. The seams around the edges of where the case lid is don't perfectly match up. We have a very kind of cheap feeling plastic on them. And as you guys know, if you've been watching my channel, the case for my original Mi Airdots broke after less than a month of use. Also, the case of the Mi Airdots doesn't add any extra added smart functionality, and it only uses a micro USB cable to charge. In this instance, I would say that there is a considerable advantage to that of the Mi Airdots Pro. And when we look at the design of the charging mechanism, I think that the Airdots Pro are going to develop less problems over time in regards to charging or wearing out of the contact points than the Mi Airdots, simply by how we place the Airdots Pro in the case compared to how we place them for the normal Mi Airdots. Oftentimes when I take my Mi Airdots in and out of the case, I have to fiddle with making sure that the contact points line up. Whereas the Mi Airdots Pro, you drop them in and you are good to go. In regards to comparing the build quality of these, there really isn't much of a comparison. The Airdots Pro are just considerably better made and they feel much more premium. Let's talk about the features. Now, the Mi Airdots Pro were kind of a hard sell because they feature Bluetooth 4.2, they have less battery life. So in order for them to make up for some of these negatives compared to the Mi Airdots, they would have to come with a considerable feature set. And honestly, when we compare the features of the Mi Airdots Pro versus the regular Mi Airdots, we see a lot of added features that subtly enhance the user experience. To quickly give you an idea of what the specs are on the regular Mi Airdots, we have about 3.5 to 4 hours of battery life with the Mi Airdots regular pair, Bluetooth 5.0, and that's kind of it. There isn't a lot of added function or features with them. The play pause controls on the touch sensitive part of the headphones rarely register gestures accurately, and more often than not, I'm left using my phone if I want to really interact with what I'm listening to. When we compare that to the feature set of the Mi Airdots Pro, again, the Mi Airdots Pro simply have more features. We have the smart case, which, while the smart case doesn't make that big of a difference, the fact of the matter is that the Airdots Pro have already paired to my device before I can get the second one in my ear. And because of that, they do offer a little bit more seamless of an experience. And if you're trying to listen to music in between classes or on break, just being able to take them out of the case and having the better touch controls is something that's nice. Also to note, the case uses USB Type-C to charge, and it does recharge quite quickly over USB Type-C. The Mi Airdots Pro also feature a proximity sensor, which will allow you to have the music automatically paused when you take them out of your ear. Now, in regards to the actual user experience of that feature, I am a little torn because I don't see that automatic pairing or the automatic pausing to really be something that is that big of a deal, because you're not constantly taking them in and out of the case to listen to. So those added features are a little bit less notable. Now, one of the more notable features of the Mi Airdots Pro is the active noise cancellation. And that's something that when I first got them, I don't know if the active noise cancellation was actually working. Once I reset the headphones by holding down the case button and I repaired them with my phone, I got considerably better active noise cancellation. On my walk to work every day, walking down a busy street here in Vietnam, the active noise cancellation does contribute to a better, although slightly, listening experience. I would say that the active noise cancellation is noticeable, and it takes out some of the motorbike noise that I hear when walking down the street. Now, it is important to note that these are Bluetooth 4.2 compared to Bluetooth 5.0. Now, that being said, Both of these devices use the AAC audio codec when streaming music to them. So we're not seeing that big of a difference just based on the Bluetooth 4.2 versus Bluetooth 5.0. One thing that I will touch on is the range. Now, even though Bluetooth 5.0 has better range theoretically than Bluetooth 4.2, I've noticed that because of the size and the design of the Mi Airdots Pro, they must be using a better Bluetooth antenna design because I'm still getting really, really good reception with them. Obviously, if I have a direct line of sight and I'm not inside, the Bluetooth 5.0 headphones are going to give me better range. That's just part of the feature set. But it is worth noting that I have had less trouble in regards to reconnecting, misconnections, and the connection not being stable with these. In fact, I would say that the Mi Airdots Pro haven't given me any kind of connection problems, whether it be between the headphones or to the headphones. Even though the Bluetooth audio hardware is not as good as it is on the Mi Airdots, I'm noticing a better and more stable connection on the Pro. Also, in regards to features, the controls on these are not controls that I particularly like. I still think that the QCY T1 Pro is the best pair of headphones in regards to truly wireless headphones and their external controls. The ability to fast forward or rewind songs without having to take my phone out is fantastic. The only caveat to that is that because of the better design of the Airdots Pro in regards to microphone placement, the assistant voice recognition with the Airdots Pro is substantially better than that of the regular Mi Airdots. So while I wouldn't say that the better voice assistant makes up for the lack of fast forward or rewind controls, it definitely makes it usable, whereas using the voice assistant on the Mi Airdots is more or less unusable because of the microphone placement. Okay, let's talk about battery life, because this is something that a lot of people have been worried about. It's been something that I even touched on. And the battery life of the Mi Airdots Pro is not great. There's no way to really get around it. You are looking at about 10 hours of playback with the included case for the Mi Airdots Pro. I haven't noticed much of a difference in regards to battery consumption when using the active noise cancellation. You are looking at essentially a maximum of about 10 hours with these. Now, most other Bluetooth headphones, like neckband style ones, offer between 8 to 10 hours of audio playback. So you're looking at something pretty comparable to that with the Mi Airdots Pro. With the Xiaomi Mi Airdots, on the other hand, you are looking at closer to 12 to 14 hours of playback time with the included case and about 4 hours with just the headphones themselves. Now, as I've stated in previous videos, as long as I'm getting over 2.5 hours of playback time with a pair of truly wireless headphones without the case, I find that acceptable because it's rare that you're going to be using them without their case for more than 2.5 hours, or at least in my usage, and I use them pretty heavily. It also is worth noting that with the USB Type-C connection, these do support some type of quick charge functionality, and when you put the earbuds back into the case themselves, they do recharge quite quickly. I don't know if I can say that it is substantially faster than the recharge time on the normal Mi Airdots, but battery life of the actual headphones themselves hasn't been something that I have run into as a concern or as an issue. Now, my experience with them has been a little bit tainted only because I have 4 different pairs of truly wireless headphones, and my AirPod clones, as well as my QCY headphones and my Airdots all have cases that offer tangibly more battery life. And so if I compare these to another pair of neckband style headphones, I'm getting comparable battery life. So it's not like the battery life on these is so bad that it is a big negative for me. But when we compare it to the regular Airdots, the battery life just isn't as good. Now, it would be hard to expect for the battery life to be as good because of all the extra added features and benefits that you have from them. Now let's talk about maybe one of the most important aspects of a pair of headphones, which is how they sound. And sound quality of the Mi Airdots Pro is fantastic. For doing this comparison, I listened to some music from Velvet Revolver, which is a mid-2000s, I guess you could call it hard rock band. And I also listened to some music off of Travis Scott's new album, as well as some other various hip-hop. But one of the first things that I noticed when comparing the sound is the Airdots Pro have a much larger sound. And what I mean by larger is that it feels as if each sound, each instrument, each tonal range just has more room to kind of flex its muscle, if you will, when listening to music. And this is something that I noticed a lot when listening to rock music. Because we have a lot more variety of sound and texture in the mids and the highs with a pretty repetitive bass, it sounds really, really good. And there is a lot of kind of room to hear each of the frequencies and hear each of the instruments when using the Airdot Pros. The bass is good, but it's not a thumpy, heavy bass. And I would say that these are probably more accurate in regards to sound than the regular Mi Airdots. If I could give you a feeling for how the Mi Airdots regular sound, it's kind of like you're in a small underground club listening to thumping hip hop in a confined space where the sound has less room to kind of flow, and there's just less room for the frequencies to kind of stand out. It sounds a lot more compressed in regards to the sound that you're listening to. That's the best way I can explain it. Now, this isn't necessarily a negative thing. If you're listening to electronic music, if you're listening to hip hop, the Mi Airdots will have a little bit more of a closed environment thump or punch. So if you're big into electronic music, you might prefer the sound that you get out of the regular Mi Airdots. Really, when you listen to music with a broader range of frequencies is when you hear the Mi Airdots Pro truly shine. And for my testing, I listened to it all on the very high quality settings from Spotify, which I think is 320 kilobits per second, which I downloaded locally. And so, at least in my opinion, that's what the average user is going to have access to in regards to bitrate for music. My overall takeaway from this is that if you want something to listen to a broad range of music with, get the Mi Airdots Pro. You will not be let down by the continuous, awesome performance from them. If you just want to listen to electronic music or you want workout headphones to listen to hip hop or something, the Mi Airdots normal give you more of that closed kind of small sound. And that's kind of how I would categorize these. I will go ahead and I will insert a latency test for you here. Both of them will be connected to my Pocophone F1 with the AAC audio codec enabled. We're going to play a few YouTube videos. We're going to show you guys what the latency is with and without the active noise cancellation to see if there's a difference. And let's go ahead and hop over to the latency test right now.
All year. So it'd be hard to talk about the Mi Band 3 without the runaway success that was the Xiaomi Mi Band 2. The Mi Band 2 proved that you can create a fitness wearable for the masses at an appealing price point that still offers value for fitness enthusiasts and people who want to monitor their health. The Mi Band 3 follows this same winning formula in swimming. Adding to that, the front of the device has a very clean face and very simple aesthetic, which easily go unnoticeable and are relatively unoffensive and unassuming when worn on the wrist. The third is accuracy. Now, I've had issues in the past with smartwatches being inaccurate or being off in steps, or having them being activated when I'm riding my motorcycle and saying that my motorcycle ride is a bike ride. Now, I have used the Mi Band 3 for a little over 2 weeks now. I regularly ride a motorcycle, and I have not when you're on a treadmill, so that if you have a longer stride and you're on a treadmill, you can go ahead and make sure that the distance that it is gym that use both hands and electrical current. Now, obviously, this isn't the most accurate heart rate sensor, and it's not the most accurate in regards to long distance when doing physical activity because there's no built-in GPS. But at a really inexpensive price, I have been more than adequately impressed with the accuracy, and on top of that, it is an excellent...
The latency for me isn't that big of a deal yet. I've been listening to Bluetooth headphones for a long period of time, and I kind of wrap things up and to touch on what I talked about at the beginning. The Mi Airdots Pro offer a pro experience or a better experience in the same way the Xiaomi Mi 8 Explorer Edition offers a different or better experience compared to the regular Xiaomi Mi 8. There's a few features and there's some subtle improvements that overall give you a different or more premium usage experience when comparing the two. Now, if you can get these for close to MSRP, I would say that for 60, 65 bucks, the Mi Airdots Pro are a great pair of headphones that offer a ton of value. Now, unfortunately, because of reseller markup, it's going to be hard to find them at close to that MSRP. For the Mi Airdots, if you are paying, let's say, 45 or 50 bucks for these, I would say that while they're worth it if you're a Xiaomi fan, I think that the QCY T1 Pro with the Bluetooth 5.0, which is available on some models, and I know that Geek Buying has the QCY with Bluetooth 5.0, I would say get the QCY T1 Pros with the Bluetooth 5.0. That would give you longer battery life, better controls, comparable Bluetooth 5.0 usage, same codec, still with a micro USB cable, but overall, they are going to offer you a better user experience than the Mi Airdots. With the Mi Airdots Pro, at the price point that we're seeing them right now at retailers, they're beginning to creep up towards the more premium headphone range. And while I haven't tested any of the Anker truly wireless headphones, I would be interested to see how these compare to Anker's offerings. So if you guys want me to get the Anker Mi True Liberty Wireless, whatever the Ankers are called, let me know in the comment section down below. But overall, if we're comparing the two of these based purely on a value standpoint and the user experience standpoint, unless you're looking to get a pair of headphones specifically for working out, where you need something that's smaller, I would say that the Mi Airdots Pro are worth the increase in price because the user experience is tangibly better. Now, I made a video before saying that I thought that they suck, and I still think that in some ways, depending upon your expectations, they might still suck. But I think that if we're looking at them through the lens of a minor user experience upgrade compared to the Mi Airdots, they're definitely worth it. And on top of that, I have been plugging these into my computer, and the case doesn't charge in the same way. It's giving me a USB mounting type of warning. So it's totally possible that we see Xiaomi update the chip and we see Xiaomi change the software on these headphones. And at least me personally, I would love to see the ability to go ahead and remap the controls or change the controls. Because in my opinion, the biggest downside to the Mi Airdots Pro are the controls. This video has dragged on long enough. I'd like to thank everyone that supports me. And until next time, guys, it's been Mitchell coming to you from Hanoi. Peace.